Morning, Ramesh. Hello, good morning, and welcome to yet another episode of Reset to Zero, powered by highperformer.ai. No prizes for guessing why we are in this jersey. So India is what our out test, and what a way to get into the finals yesterday. Sri, did you watch the match? I'm sure you did.
Of course. I think we probably watched the first half together. So it was fun watching in the office, trying to work on the side. And I know we didn't do much there, but exciting match. I just watched the last ball, so it was exciting time. Looking forward to that one match. But I have an amazing. I felt very happy. But I have an amazing. At least I have one observation about the team. This team, I think I see a lot more. Like match winners, right? Than I would say last 4 or 5 like World Cups. That's very interesting. Hopefully, and that was one big difference between the New Zealand at one time. I thought they want to take it away. So it's pretty interesting that point of view. Pretty happy. I'm sure India had a good sleep last night, dreaming about the World Cup.
So you said you have an observation about.
So I think win or loss, right? My pick for the man, the man of the series would be Rohit, right? I think the reason, right? I think he's changed the tone of the game, right? Yesterday's match, I think Rohit was the only difference between the two teams. If they had a Rohit in their team, if let's say the convoy had done 50% of what Rohit did, I think it would have been a very close start. Yeah. To me, even though he gets in, scores 40, 30, 50, I think that's the difference. If we go to the same form and then, we win the World Cup, I would give the man, the man of the series to Rohit.
All right. So Sri has a winner here in Rohit Sharma. Of course, not taking away anything from the capability. Absolutely selfless in the way he's been playing, the way he sets momentum. He's really a Jayasuriya of what we saw in the 1996 World Cup, 1999, and whatever that.
Yeah.
But I think I have my own observations as well.
Sure.
I can imagine that. So we were watching this match yesterday with a few friends, and literally, we thought we had it in our pocket, right?
Yeah.
Until there was someone like a Mitchell and a Williamson out there, which really shook things us to us. And there was a time when there was just 113 runs required in the last 10 overs.
Yeah.
100 runs in the last 10 overs with just 4 wickets possible is definitely doable.
Mm-hmm.
What had happened also is that Shami had dropped the catch, and we thought the World Cup is what he dropped.
True.
But the guy came back super strong, right? He had taken 2 wickets. He took the next 5 wickets to end up at 7 wickets. I think it talks a lot about the game. It talks a lot about the team. It talks a lot about the man. It talks a lot about the man because when he came up to the presentation party, he actually admitted that he felt really bad in Hindi. He said, it is really a bad feeling that I had dropped the catch. And it's not easy, right? Everyone else could just get angry, and that anger could lose the match.
Right.
The momentum wasn't breaking. Everyone was going. But this guy took it upon himself to come back. And that talks about, I think, the camaraderie that the team has back in the dressing room. So, in my opinion, I think the game is being played in the dressing room. The camaraderie, the people coming together, Rohit Sharma's selfless ability not to, chase numbers, but just give the momentum. And at the end of the day, the India team has been doing something very unique. Right? And you call it an Instagram sensation or whatever. There is this guy called Dilip Sir, who is the freaking coach.
Yeah.
And he puts the medal, and he gives a medal to who he thinks has taken away the match or been, top contributor. I don't know who it is for the last match, given that we dropped so many catches and a few fielding was back. But I think everyone is looking forward to the next thing when they go back to the dressing room. It's just not pack up and let's get ready to the next game. There is a talk about it. There is an acknowledgement of what's going on. I think that is very. So I acknowledge what is happening inside the room, and then you come out even stronger. You get better at your strength.
Let's just take a couple of minutes there, which I think, why don't we just double click there, right? What do you think is the impact? Why don't we explain it in a simple words? Like what's happening? What is different? From every team has its own DNA. Right? Can you decode that part a little bit more deep?
Actually, let's take an analogy of a sales team and who's chasing numbers. They are under the pump every time inside a company. You're looking at a set, and your sales team is the best team ever that you can get, right? To hit the numbers.
Okay.
So it's not one person who is hitting it hard out of the park every month. There are a lot of people who are contributing to it. What happens? Imagine a scenario when these sales leaders, these sales people get back into the room to discuss strategy. It's not pinned on one guy to come and win it again for you for the month. But there is a lot of inspiration that is being taken. There are a lot of learnings. There is a lot of acknowledgement of what's gone right, what's not gone well.
Okay.
And then they come out and they want to replicate, right? There is a sense of competition, but happy competition amongst them, right? Everyone is supporting. Everyone is very.
It becomes a team building activity.
It is an
Which means that what you're saying, what you're seeing on the World Cup today done by India is probably, at scale, they're trying to build the team in public.
Totally.
I mean, that's what I
Right? And this is common. It is not uncommon. It is not unique. It's the style is different. Take the 1983 World Cup when no one even believed that India could win a match, right? Kapil Dev was that guy.
Yeah.
We've seen the movie. Yeah, for those who have not been born. I don't remember the movie, but I was born there. You've seen Kapil Dev, the way he's commanded his team on the
Yes.
It goes back to how even the manager who has no idea about what the game is contributing in the team, right? It is all about the support system that is probably helping it.
Right.
We see the 2011 World Cup, right? Dhoni.
Of course.
It's a Dhoni sensation for sure, but look at the camaraderie in the team. They did it for one person, Sachin Ramesh.
Totally.
Right? And today, it's a beautiful trait. I mean, this India team has my heart, right? Today, the way Kohli is acknowledging what happened, the dressing room, how Tendulkar is so supportive of...
Correct. It's so nice to see Tendulkar being part of the dressing room. When I see pictures of it there, it's fantastic. Hopefully, they take it through and win their, the 11th game. But Ramesh, I think now that you mentioned something knowingly, you picked up numbers. Right? I know it's very hard to keep you away from numbers. With that, let's just get into some of our own topics, right? Getting into it. So where do you see numbers changing? I know you've been a person who will be churning numbers for maybe like more than a decade, and you're churning from the pre-COVID days where growth at all costs was the norm to what is changing right now towards growing towards sustainable growth. I want to ask you understand a little bit more there. Hey, like what is changing in today's world? Specifically, let's stick to SaaS. Correct. And startup. Let's spend like a couple of minutes getting through the mindset. What is changing? How people are looking at, and you're talking to a lot of investors. You're trying to reach out to a lot of customers. You're talking to the founders and other entrepreneurs. Can we just talk about what's happening right now? I mean, how this is going to sustain next, let's say, I don't know, a decade is a period, but very short term. Right? Let's just spend some time there.
But first, thank you, Sri. Because I just feel you put me on the pedestal. We're talking about the Indian cricket team, the dressing room, and then you come down to me saying how I've seen it. But that's a great feeling when you talk. But let's talk about it as you said, right? Companies that are being built, right, in the last 10 years that I have been a part of, it's all about growth. It's all about harmonic growth, right? It's all about growth at any cost, or growth at all costs. Like just get us the growth that is needed. And we've seen every company that came on the block succeed. Success had various metrics of scale, right? Absolutely. The success was the valuation game.
Very true.
Success was the revenue game. Success was how many people you have in the company. Success was all about. And then you narrow it down to operational metrics. Success was, hey, what's my payback? Right? You talk about GMV in retail space, right?
True.
So many metrics of success that kept the industry together. We saw a huge spurt. And all after a sudden, there is COVID, which kind of hits us. Just not COVID. Last year, we saw the market stack. And then you had the war.
Multiple wars now, right?
Multiple wars now. Well, God forbid, we don't get into the next one. But there is an indirect impact to the metrics. And when it comes to running a company successfully, there is a big change. It all boils down to one single metric of how profitable you are. And before you even go there, do you have a setup that is strong enough to execute on numbers? That boils down to one single metric called revenue per employee. I think that is...
I'm going to stop here before you get into the number and talking about it, right? I think I just want to kind of understand a little bit more on what's coming in. Right? So are you saying that, after COVID, after, the economic slowdown, with multiple wars, are businesses looking at success differently? Is it what you're alluding to? Can you just talk about that for a second?
I think, happy to. My view, certainly, Sri, is that at least in the world of SaaS, where I have a little more nuanced understanding of it, SaaS was an experiment. Like, it is not that it was not there at all, but you see so many companies mushrooming and a lot of them are going towards growth. We were unable to pin down what the right metric of growth is.
Okay.
So we kind of plotted this chart to say, hey, if revenues are up, but still cost is very high. It's okay, let the company grow. That was one approach of it. His second approach was, hey, this is an enterprise company. Okay, so let them build the team first. So you had a lot more people, sales. Sometimes if it's a very data-related company, deep tech, you wanted to build the product first, right? And these are still very much what is there. But I think what binds all of this is how soon can you get to revenue? And once revenue start coming with, how many people are you able to do it? Are you, bringing the whole village, get this? Or are you doing it efficiently? And efficiently because I think there is also tech available, which we will talk through. It is all boiled down, success of a company today. If you see probably not for an early stage startup, I'm not going right. But I think that's what it boils down to. I mean, let me take a parallel example to another parallel metric is sales and marketing costs.
Sales and marketing costs.
Because that has direct impact. R&D is generally, no company has an R&D which is about 60%. It lingers at about 40%, which is, and that stays stable. That is true. But when you see a company growing, you think we need more salespeople. You think we need more branding. You think we need more online advertising. As a result, you see the sales and marketing costs of any company just go up. And primarily because of the number of people on the seats, because you're trying to get more salespeople. So if you compare this in companies like Atlassian, right? Atlassian at that scale, at a $3.7 billion scale, has a sales and marketing cost of only 16%. Wow. Right? And that's phenomenal. That's gold standard. Even though it's all inbound, it is looking at SMBs. But when you look at Salesforce, they're still profitable, even at having 40% as a sales and marketing cost. But the revenue per employee there would be the binding metric to say
it is on the higher side. They are above the median.
Exactly.
So I think then what you're saying is that you're not, I think just to set the context in terms of, where this is applicable, right? I think typically if you're a company, who has revenue more than under 5 million, right? Then your mindset is to basically grow. Right? In the past, there was this, double, triple, whatever, way of running a business. Now that has stuck in our mind so hard. Correct. That you wanted to go after the growth at any cost. So that's the most important thing. And then you basically put all levers. We all lead to that. You kind of spend money and then you try to, increase that revenue. That is what basically, what we have seen. Now, Ramesh, I think you're bringing a point here. You're talking about two metrics here. One is the cost of, the sales and marketing as one parameter. Another parameter you're talking about the revenue per employee.
Yeah, it is linked to each other.
They're linked to each other. How are they linked to each other?
I mean, like I said, if you're an SMB-ish kind of company, right, catering to it, we don't need a barrage of people trying to come and sell. Okay, right? When you think inbound is more like a PLG is more like a, right? When it's a product-led growth kind of setup, you probably need lesser number of people. Correct. And therefore, your contribution to revenue, right? The sales and marketing is way lesser in such a kind of company. And that boils down to a higher revenue per employee, or at least in the ballpark where it's really profitable. Okay. If you look at an enterprise kind of a company, if you're looking companies like Salesforce or probably even Snowflake for that matter, their revenue per employee will still be higher, but their sales and marketing cost will be at a proportional 40% odd. Okay. But it still means that the company is doing well because their revenue per employee is way higher than what it would be for an Atlassian, right? It's just the ticket size of that, and therefore revenue per employee is like a proportion to the kind of business you're running. Okay, and that's very important. But for a company like the new age companies that you have, like if you're pre-revenue, if you're probably around the 2 million mark, and if you have a barrage of people of let's say 200 people, you can calculate and say whether you are in the ballpark and compare it with a peer product of yours and say, if you're working in the same space, like a same setup, right, is the revenue per employee good? So that's what I think we'll have some links in our description in the include the video there. Yeah, or details, but I think I get what you get where you're going. So tell me, I think Sri, it's important for also our viewers to kind of understand why we picked this revenue per employee. Why is that changing right now? You had a point of view, we discussed.
Correct. I think before I chime in with point of view or how it is relevant today for somebody building a startup, just to summarize what you're trying to bring in is as well as a company, if you're basically between 2 to 10 million, a good benchmark would be to have about 100K as the revenue per employee.
Well, that will be
that's a great start. That's a great start. Then you take it from there and keep that number in mind before you basically take in content to growth. I mean, that's what people.
Yeah.
But how is it relevant for somebody like us who's starting up today, right? I think for some, for startups and founders who are starting up today, I think we need to learn how to do like more with less.
Correct.
So what I mean by that is that I think we should look at tech available today with the tech like the OpenAI, the different LLM models. I'll give an example, right? In the past in my life, I had a team of about 50 to 100 people who be doing only primary, trying to build their LLM models. They would go pick up a specific open source model, try to optimize it. That's a few quarters, like not few years of effort to get to a stage where you could get it by default in an LLM model out here, which means that the scope of doing customization and being able to handle a specific use case you're trying to solve for, or be able to go to the product market fit for a product can be done much faster. You can do much more in a shorter period of time with lesser research. And if we don't try to adapt to that now, the new norm, I think we're going to have a different challenge altogether. Like, that's the way I will look at it, but time needs to answer it. Of course, we are closely follow what's happening with chip. Because if you see today, LLM models are growing at a pace in which, things, they don't replace few of the existing incumbent softwares, right?
Correct.
Probably they might also run few devices as operating system, right? In the next 5-10 years, which means that there is a lot of tools available, right? Which are solving problems which we thought were very, very hard to, right? So now, as founders, as entrepreneurs, or somebody trying to create a new product, have to put your mind on the new opportunities, it can create, rather worry about like things which is making us obsolete, right? That's the way I will look at it.
Right. But that's a very important thing, because it's an important thing to understand how you could do more with less, right?
Good example is Ramesh, how did you launch 40 products with 3 engineers and probably one part-time product manager and one, a part-time GTA person, right? That's a good example, but we have to make it a scale. I'm just saying that's a good start, but you need to be able to build, let's say, a $10 million business, right, with sub 20 people, that will become a norm. I mean, I think today that's an exception, but I would say like the next 5-10 years, you would see more companies attempting to do that.
While you're talking about it, my mind is being, obviously thinking about, wow, if we have to get to $10 million with, as this many people in the shortest of time, how is this sustainable? Because in my opinion, what is happening is with growing LLM models that are coming in the market, when you have, the system, when you have OpenAI kind of products also coming in, do you think there is a necessity for companies to pivot very quickly?
Change is going to happen more, sooner than later. I'll give some examples.
Yeah.
But even before I get into the details on that, I think you also mentioned about training, right? See, the moment you had lesser people in the company and the expenses are at a reasonable numbers, the pressure on getting things done at a very fast pace also slows down. You don't have to do a 10 million in 2 years, 3 years. You don't have to kill ourselves. But you also can pace it well. That is another important thing to understand. But there's all changes happening. See, the point is that being in India, we have the liberty to go hire as many people as possible and stack up people. I think that's what we do, for good reason, right? And then when you basically get a revenue numbers like $1 million, $2 million, and you look at the payroll, then you shouldn't find it different. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, from day one, slowly add people who bring value, but look at people who basically are independent, who doesn't need help, right? If you go to college, I think we've been having interns. I'm surprised the kind of quality of people we will even find as an intern, right? They basically know programming already. They're independent. They have a few apps. They don't shy away from putting things in public. So the whole DNA is also going back. That's another mix of all of that. Now coming back to your question, right? Hey, things are changing, so do we have to pivot a lot? I would say our eye has to be to get the product market fit. So if we have to pin on the person you're going after, and that cannot change. I cannot say I'll go after sales today. I cannot say I'll go after the finance team today. I cannot say I'll go on the operation team the day after. That is going to be painful.
Yeah.
But maybe, for example, I'll give an example is that, hey, there were a lot of products which were built on top of OpenAI as wrappers. For example, good example would be, a PDF, I would upload a PDF and I could ask any questions.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that's obsolete right now. A SaaS company which had the PDF, bot would have to pivot, would have to look at more insights, would have to build things or OpenAI doesn't bring you what you thought. For example, I give another example, like the Assist API. So the OpenAI has launched Assist API. If you're a wrapper company, right, a startup, which is not wrong, which is probably a good thing to do in that sense, you should look at the use cases you could support with a new API.
Can I just pause you for a moment?
Yeah.
And you're talking about wrapper companies. So what are wrapper companies?
A good example would be anybody who's using an existing LLM model, right? and then try to offer a solution. A good example would be the Copy.ai, Jasper.ai, the right sounding of the world, who grew really fast. For example, if you go look at their trajectory, I think Jasper hit probably 75 million, probably plus or minus 3 to 5 years, which was like amazing, right? And when the ChatGPT was launched, they had the ChatGPT Plus premium features with less cost. I'm sure the MRR went skyrocketing. I'm sure those will going to come down the moment the ChatGPT released a new version, because most of it that was offered as part of their premium or a paid plan is now available on the ChatGPT Plus. And you would have seen yesterday, I think Sam Altman did a tweet saying that he's pausing the sign up for the ChatGPT, the paid version. That's the change. So when that change is happening, you need to go back. If you're a startup entrepreneur building things on top of the existing LLM models, you have to go adapt to the change. In order to take a step back, you may see some churn, the net retention will go down. But if you're in a situation where you only have few engineers and few member team, you would have that runway to be able to reconcile yourself and then look at the opportunity within the same persona you want to handle. That's the way I would look at it.
Right. So I think you've got a few things that we've been talking today, as you've spoken about the revenue per employee.
Right.
And to Sri's point, if you're getting to the core metric of be a successful company, get the revenue per employee, absolutely. So there's an example of hitting about, when you're about $10 million, true, you should have, and that's when you can probably optimize for in general. It's starting from $2 million of revenue that you meant to start hitting that shape. The second point that Srivatsan has spoken about is if you are, that I spoke about starting with, is if you are looking to leverage the existing technologies, the AI technologies that be ready to pivot the product, because there is the LLM models themselves are in anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she corrected and very well put it. Do not change the persona to which you're going to cater. So if you're sales and marketing, remain sales and marketing, but you got to adapt very quickly to the change around. And the third piece of what we've been talking in this podcast, it's like the most important trait for early stage startups and founders is to learn to do more with less. Yeah, I think that's the third important point is try and do more with less, whatever it is in any kind of resources, because the cost of because of the AI,
yes,
I think the cost of R&D has kind of come down drastically.
Yes.
The research and development, the cost of building products, the cost of putting it out there very fast. So speed and the cost are kind of directly proportional in this age. So yeah, that's the next segment, and that brings us also to the next segment of our podcast, Reset to Zero, as we speak. Now, we've spoken about OpenAI, we've spoken about, right? If you were to build high performer in a different way, right? If you're talking about, bots coming in the day, you're talking about, how you did say that if we don't adapt to newer technologies, we will become irrelevant.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So, if you look at this, the custom GPT, I'm sure a lot of people have tried building their own the custom GPT, right? That is giving power to end user.
Yeah.
Right? For example, Ramesh, right? You've been a marketer, growth marketer, a lot of learnings, for you in the past, right? I'm sure you've taken a lot of notes on what is good, what is bad, a lot of metrics. What is good metric, what is not good metrics in terms of numbers. If you can even have that notes as a text document or a PDF, you could now upload into custom GPT, create your own custom GPT, and the model will basically learn from your insights. Now, it is not going to create a digital clone of Ramesh, but it fairly understands the context you might have in a particular topic.
Right.
So there's an opportunity for you now as a user to basically have an assistant thing. So
Correct.
So this is basically a new thing which has happened, which used to be very hard around the solve, I think 2 years back, 3 years back.
Do you mean that if someone is building analytics as a separate team or a separate product within their product, that can be done way more easily and you don't need such a big team there?
Just for a second, you forget the team size and all of that. Right? The kind of problems you can solve can be much more deeper. All right. Of course, right. For analytics, you need data. So you need to figure out what's the data source. End of the day, analytics tools will exist, will become more deeper in collecting data from a lot of sources, But the insights, what does it take for you to derive an insight? Let's say, for example, if I'm presenting a data about an inbound, growth for a couple of months for a startup which is doing the 10 million, Ramesh has a point of view because you have context.
Correct.
Now, if you have a, do the same thing with ML model, now things are like much easier, or it's possible, at a reasonable side. Which means that unless we don't look at this assistant API, or unless you want to try build the whole custom GPT, what it means that in 3-4 years from now, it's possible that you could basically come to a product, a SaaS product like MyPerform, as an example, and basically say that, hey, this is my goal. You would move from kind of giving a task or recording your task, okay, to giving a goal saying that, hey, can you help me grow my social process? And a product like iPerformer should be able to do multiple tasks on its own and present you the outcome over a period of time. It's possible, because how and the when is basically going to depend on the technology, how it's going to evolve and all that. But there's a good side for it with the Assist API. I will pause it there.
Okay. I think we just left just a little bit of secret out over there. And I'm not going to pull that out, because what brings us next to that is all that's happening inside iPerformer, the way you rotate that, right? We are definitely going to be taking advantage of the assisted API. Make everyone socially present far more easily. And we'll talk about more about it as soon as I be right. I promise.
For sure.
Tell us how excited are you about launching our product?
I think everybody excited. I think, like you said, Ramesh, there is no more, better excitement than that. I believe like how I feel every day, like winning a semi-final. That's the way I will put it. But what is more interesting is that there's an opportunity for you to adapt. That is also another thing. Change is going to be constant, and looks like a change is going to happen every alternate day. So iPerformer, I think, like I said, right, we're going to help people have better social presence, and hopefully with that we're going to translate that into the demand gen, then that becomes a social CRM. So the prospect of making it as a social CRM is much higher by day because of the lot of developers happening on there. I'm pretty excited about that. It means that we may not redo things what we did like a few weeks back, or a couple of months back when we started, but that's the opportunity, correct, right? And I think what is going to set us different, or at least as an opportunity for us, is that we may be able to adapt to the change much faster than any incumbent out there. That's our advantage. It all depends upon how you execute, and Ramesh, more importantly, how you figure out our distribution. So that is where we are. I think looks like you want to talk about your distribution so far. About a sneak peek of that would be nice to see what worked on the foods.
And talking about distribution, and do not forget to like and subscribe to our podcast, Reset to Zero. But jokes apart, I think there's a lot going on. We are focusing a lot more on our website, and we'll get that out in the night. But I think what was more interesting is how we got the 42 micro apps out there.
Right.
The power, and we're not stopping there, right? We are going all out. It doesn't mean that distribution for those 40 apps have stopped and now moving to a different product, and we start to get for that. It's very reasonably easy for an engineer to just build that 40 apps, but unless they take it to market, unless there is usage, right? Because today, what started from zero, we had a few thousands in terms of daily visits, and that's very heartwarming. And we know that the moment you kind of put in an effort to ensure that we talk about these micro apps on a daily basis, we talk about how does it work on a daily basis, we talk about who is using it. We are looking at people who come to us with, I still get messages of my LinkedIn. You should talk about the user you got yesterday. A former colleague of mine at Google just comes back and said, hey, I use the tool and I've used it and it's just fantastic. So that is the power of distribution. When you are probably thinking that you're done with it and you're moving on to the next, and then you continue to come and say, yes, it is working. I just discovered this. You know that what you're doing is fairly working. I'm an expert at it. I think we both are trying really hard to ensure that we get the word out there on a daily basis. I think that's the effort that we need to take when it comes to distribution. You have all the systems in place. You could have Google Analytics, you could have Search Console, but unless there's an intent from every employee, to put that out there, to try 10 different new hundreds, I don't think we'll ever be successful.
So I think, Ramesh, you basically kind of subtly brought the most important value, right, which a startup like iPerformer bring to the table, is that help users. In this case, your friend who's a Googler, and I'm sure he's a great profile. There is a little bit of, work or challenge even for somebody to go update their LinkedIn profile. This is a very small problem. The problem is that some of these things are not done at ease, correct? Right? Now, those are the type of problems we're going to solve, not just for individually, for businesses, right? I think you should look at that as an example, right? That's an example where everybody out there would ideally want to basically upgrade their and keep their profile updated, because end of the day that's your brand, right? But it's not an easy thing. Like, it's not easy as I'm saying. I mean, I struggled in the past. I'm sure Ramesh, you struggled in the past, right? To get a crisp bio for your LinkedIn or your Twitter. That's an opportunity we're trying to solve. So there are hundreds of problems like that. And the new development in the tech, not just LLM, in talking about how you, with a, the programming stack, right from the top to bottom, presents you with opportunities to solve that.
Right. Okay. On that note, if you're watching this as an individual company, please go ahead, use my LinkedIn bio generator, Instagram bio generator, and get your bios in place. So with that, this is probably Srivansan and Ramesh, co-founder of High Performer AI Sidelar. The next time we see you, we probably will have a mini version of the World Cup, but we're not happy you're getting there. So keep tuning India to deal, and all the best looking forward. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.